Friday night. Let's shake that shimmy.
Yeah.
I'm just going to share out. We've got one in the chat already. Yippee! If somebody could say hi, that would be great. I'm on I'm on the wrong one. Up here comes my boy. Hey up, Duck.
Yay!
Nick. Hi. We will make your night. We're going to absolutely make your night, Nicky boy.
Sounds good.
We are going to be talking about Ghostie's Antics. That's the ones that fill you up. People want to get married to, which I don't bloody blame them. But let's go for it. We may have a special guest tonight.
Really?
Yeah, well, it just depends. But we may or may not have one. So, guys, how's everybody so far?
Absolutely fantastic.
Oh, I bet you're your cheeky monkey. What about yourself, Dick? Was you all right, love?
Yeah, it's been kind of a crazy week for me, but you know, I've still been hanging in there. I don't know if you could actually see. Unfortunately, just yesterday I got sunburned. I don't know if you could see it, but
sweetie. Oh, my darling, right. There's 3 people in the chat. Can somebody say hello so that I know that you could hear us? Please. Thank you. So tonight, folks, we are talking about ghostly feelers. First of all, before we start, I really want to say that I'm thinking of people in Japan just now that are going through mega quakes. Your thoughts are with you. Always, guys. Do you want to say hello? Can you check we're working, MD?
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Oh, wait a second.
We are working.
I'm coming.
Yeah, Laura's watching.
There's you.
There's me. There's that Willow. She says hello because she can hear. But let's go for it. So, obviously, there's people who claim that Ghost gets a wee bit touchy-feely. And he'll bum and hi, Noreen. Thank you very much, love. I'm so glad that you can hear us. So, there's people out there that claim that ghosts give them the old feel. It may feel in the leg, maybe feel in the bum, it may be feeling the genitals. It might be for a woman or boobs. Right? Personally, I've never had that done to me. Right? Maybe I'm just no sexy enough for the ghosts. But I've never had it done. No, the only person I really can think about that has had it done is Dan. Because Dan's always told me the story about the ghost grabbing his arse and him saying, "Oh, lucky bastard," you know. Or I think it was his friend. It was his friend or something. But personally, I've not had that done. You guys ever had a spirit that's had a feel?
I've had my right bottom felt. And I could yeah. Do you know when you get a lot of energy around and, you know, sometimes, and I didn't know whether it was a child or not, because when sometimes you can feel children around you or animals, I can feel them on my legs or things grab around the waist and it's normally a child. And I've had my bum grabbed a couple of times on that side. But I did have a ghost get into bed with me once. Right, this is a true story. This is years before I started actually going out doing anything. And I hadn't been married long, right? And I'd gone to bed And it was about, my husband was downstairs and he said to me, I'll be up in about half an hour. So I went to bed. I slept on the right-hand side of that bed at that time. And I was sleeping on my right. I don't know me, but I was sleeping on my right. Anyway, the door opened, the bedroom door opened. I can see it now. The door opened and I opened my eye and it was very dark and I could see him walking around the bed. And for some reason, he just got into bed.
Right.
Just no clothes off, because you know what you're like. You put your stuff, don't you? And get into bed sometimes. He gets into bed. I thought, oh my God, he's so cold. So I shoved it over a bit like this because he was too cold. I thought, oh my God. So I started nodding back to sleep. And then the door opened and I looked and the light was on. So the landing light was now on. And I thought, I can't remember him getting out of the bed, even though I was just starting to nod off. I hadn't nodded off. And I looked to my right, there was nobody there. The bed was freezing and it was my husband just coming in. And I said, what do you think you're playing at? Right. He said, what do you mean? I said, you come in here before, you get into bed with all your clothes on. Have you been downstairs? He went, no. He said, I've just come in now. So something had come in. The house was extremely haunted. There was very, very bad entities in that house. There still is.
Do you know, it makes, I'm quite, maybe I'm quite sceptical, right, because it's never happened to me. Again, maybe I need to work out more and get my body into shape, right? But it's like one of those ones that's never ever happened. I'm going to quickly get into the chat, guys, because people are, oh, you piss off, prick. There's Claudia and Laura says, hi, I can assure you I was touched at Alloway Kirk. I was sitting on a chair during an investigation and a hand from under the chair grabbed my butt. You lucky devil. Hi, Sarah Louise. Scott says, much enjoyed our very independent chat the other night. It was most enlightening. Nick told me that it was shite. Scott says, you got your ass grabbed. You're just jealous because it's not your ass. Nori says, I have felt someone getting into bed quite a few times in the past. I thought it was my partner. Imagine my surprise when I turned over to speak to him and nobody was there.
Yeah.
Wayne said, Wayne, you're killing me, long words. There once was a ghost that always said boo. Then this is one of the dirty jokes, isn't it? Then suddenly it stopped and he didn't know what to do. He went to the doctors to see what could be done. And the doctor said, bend over and give, oh, for God's sake. Gave him a section in the bum. He thanked the doctor for a week. He thanked the doctor for the tweak, but from that moment onwards, all he did was shriek, evening all, hi Wayne, cheeky devil. Was that when we went, Laura? Hi William, you're meant to respect your guests. You're not a guest, you're a stalker. Scott says, Nick, I look forward very much to our next show together. You're not getting, man. I'm his PA. Noreen says, I have also seen a man walk in the room around the bed and walk to my partner and shake him like he was trying to wake him up for work. He then walked back round the bed and through the door and disappeared on the landing. Oh my God. What's your history in your house, Noreen? What about you, Nick? Have you ever been grabbed in the BUM?
So far, no. That hasn't happened to me yet. At least as far as I can remember.
Well, I'll tell you something, Nick. We must be just not good enough for these ghosts and spirits.
Yeah, probably not.
So here's a rabbit hole we'll go down, right? What's your opinions on people who claim that they're in love with ghosts and ghosts or spirits, because there is a difference between ghosts and spirits. What's your thoughts, guys? I mean, do you think, without going into a grey area, do you think it's maybe their mental health, or do you think they're actually seeing something that makes them fall in love? What's your opinion, guys? Even the guys in the chat.
What about you, Nick? What do you think?
It's a really good question, actually. I really can't think of too many ideas, honestly. So I might have to come back to that question.
No, you're fine. Personally, right, each to their own, right? We're coming into 21st century, and there's a lot of people who say they're in love with their dogs. There's a lot of people who say they're in love with planes. There's a lot of people who say they're in love with all different sorts of objects, right? So the way I see it is, we can't really discriminate against one and then shoot people down who are in love with what they perceive that they're seeing. I used to find it quite funny, but then I find it quite fascinating how people can turn around and say they're personally, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't say that I'm in love with an object. I've loved objects that I have, like crystals, books, things like that, but I wouldn't say that I'm that emotionally attached that I would marry them. But it's one of those areas that fascinates me, that how people can fall in love with objects and things like that. So don't get me wrong, that woman had some balls. I don't know if you'd seen it, Nick. I don't think you would have. What I'll do is, at the end of the show, I'll send you the video. But this lady actually went in national telly in the UK, and she proclaimed that she was in love with, if I'm right and my mind serves me, it was a pirate ghost that she'd been in love with. She wanted to spend her life with. She wanted to marry. And I shit you not, right? She then said, I think it was months down the road, that she was divorcing the ghost.
I actually have heard of this story.
It was very bizarre. Nick says, Noreen says, it's a very old house. It is a house built for the workers of Rice Candles Factory, small village, only 3 roads, late 1800s. That sounds pretty cool, Noreen. Hey Nicola, hey Kelly. Noreen says you love them, not in love with them. That's the difference, though. It certainly is. I can't ever say, Noreen, that I've ever been in love. Right? I've been in love with a person in a uniform, but I wouldn't actually say that I've ever been in love with an object. That's what makes this quite fascinating, guys, because when you look at it and go into the psychology, you wonder what the psychology is behind the fact that people fall in love with objects.
Yeah.
I find it quite fascinating because it's getting more and more nowadays that you're reading about people being in love with all sorts. So I'm thinking to myself, what makes people be in love with spirits? It's quite ironic.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Kelly says, hi Robert. Hey Robbie.
Hi Robbie.
The woman's a loony, says Rob. I knew you would say that, Robert. I knew you would say that. But yeah, I mean, I've got a book called True Hauntings, and it's one of the Mammoth books. And basically, when I read it, there was different sort of sections. And when I first encountered, like when they talk about ghostly antics, there was a section and it talked about sexual and strong viewers discretion advised. They talked about sexual encounters with spirits. No, in all honesty, I was pretty no way. Don't get me wrong. I watched the film that was based on a true life story. Is it The Entity with the woman?
Oh, I've got that film. Yeah,
I was going to say I don't know if it's the same one, but there was a documentary that was made on the Travel Channel like over 15 years ago. It was called Ghostly Lovers, and
Right.
they interviewed 3 women who claimed they had sexual encounters with a spirit, but I think. Now, they were all interesting, but I think the one that really, I actually thought, I mean, it wasn't just only an encounter. It was actually a very loving and sweet moment because the woman who they interviewed, her husband had recently passed away. And there was one night she went to bed, and all of a sudden she started feeling like someone had crawled in, and not necessarily by force, but it was almost like something was encouraging her to lay back. And she started feeling what you would expect, obviously, during a sexual encounter, but the feeling felt so familiar. And she started believing it was probably the spirit of her deceased husband. I don't think in any way of trying to be pervert or anything. I guess in some way having like that last kind of moment of intimacy between them. So it was like their last true moment together before eventually he went on to the other side, but it was actually quite a sweet story that I heard.
Well,
can I just say
one final time?
Can I just say to Robert, the mannequin.
Ah, right. Robert says he loves spirits. I know what spirits you're talking about. Whiskey and vodka. It is bizarre, Noreen. Hey, Jamie. Robbie says those weirdos who love dolls need help. Those things are creepy. Well, believe it or not, Robbie, see, when you're talking about that, it's now been said about they're building robots, right? Oh my God, I really should have warned Jeremy before I did this show tonight. I do apologise, Jeremy. But they are creating robots that are sex dolls.
Oh, just like that movie Stepford Wives.
Yeah, they basically are. It's like because I seen it recently. I love scrolling through Facebook, and I read somewhere about obviously having dolls that are like sex dolls, like robots for the future. And I thought to myself, oh Wally, not oh Wally that way, like I'd be in there, but it would be by the way.
So for that one it pulled.
That would be as Noreen says, an upmarket blow up down. But apparently, Nick, I do apologise, love, because I know how we're getting into Tom's territory. So anyway, cute and kinky.
If this whole thing was ran by Tom, I don't think he'd probably enjoy it.
Well, this is very true. But the word talking about the word. Hi Joanne, well I want a man one to train. Robert says they dolls have always been around. You're tired out time, you blow them up. No, this isn't about blowing them up. You don't blow them up. They're actually mechanical. I've seen them. They are actually like mechanical to be their feet. I'm going to look this up, guys, and I'm going to show you a picture.
Nick, do you think that story of that lady who lost her husband and she felt like she was having sex in bed with him, right? Do you think it could be a incubus or succubus or something?
She said that she never felt that it was negative. She just said that the feeling, I guess, felt very familiar. And I'm not talking just the actual physicalness, for lack of a better term. It just felt familiar. She knew in her, I guess she probably just knew in her heart that it was her husband. You know, just wanted to be with her one final time before he left. So to me, if anything else, I mean, some people may find that a story like that, you know, stories like that erotic. But to me, it was kind of almost like a true love story and almost like a real happy ending between the two before he left. So it was just so, you know, it's obviously not a very, something like that especially is definitely not very common. So hearing a story like that is really incredible.
It's quite touching, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, she should feel very lucky to have had it because that's definitely something that especially, you know, what a widow or widower doesn't get to have very often.
Yeah, you've walked into us. We're talking about sex dolls and everything. That's what we're walking into, Kate. Welcome to the Cute Kinky Show.
And I don't even take part in that show.
Well, yeah, you're in this show, son. Right, I'm going to show you guys a picture, right? But I'm going to have to take half the picture out because I would get into deep trouble for it. Right? Could you put up me as a whole, just me myself? Yeah. But this is what apparently the dolls are supposed to look like.
What the hell? Oh, what the hell is this?
No, I don't fancy that.
Oh, hi there, Tim.
We've got a guest. We've got young Tim.
So he's the guest for this. Okay.
Can
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So Nick, see if you put me back, maybe, so I can show you this picture again.
You're on.
So this is what the doll is meant to look like, right?
Oh my God. Your phone went off.
Even my phone's appalled at this. Right, so anyway, that's what the doll is meant to look like, right? That's like an example. It's a sex bot. And Tim's like that. I wish I'd said no. I wish I had said no. Hey, Pickle Time! Wait now. Robert says, oh no, a doll with a brain. I don't think it has a brain. I think it's just human parts. But here, right, next game.
The brain's in the wrong place, you mean?
Oh, steady. Tim's like that. What the hell have I walked into?
What are you all talking about now?
Yeah.
We are talking about sex dolls.
Oh God.
Come again. Sex dolls or textiles?
Right.
Textiles. Textiles.
I can explain all this, right? I can explain this with
textiles.
Fair enough.
What happened was
I got a new shirt.
I love your shirt. It's absolutely smashing. Right. What happened was we got onto the sub to Plums Like That, Come Again, laughing myself.
I am not even showing that one.
Right, I'll explain. Right. So we're talking about obviously ghostly antics. And then it kind of tumbled. Actually, there was an avalanche. But I was talking about the future, and they're talking about bringing.
Oh,
They're bringing out sex dolls, AI sex bots, right?
Oh, not
So-
textiles then.
Yeah. But anyway, so yes, Tim, have you had any experiences with spirits grabbing your bum or?
No, I haven't. No, I felt cold
Yeah,
down my
I'm with
back.
you
That's
on
the
that,
only
Tim.
physical experience I've ever had. Like somebody poured some water down my back, that kind of feeling. That's it.
Ah, oh Wally, this show has went. Whoosh.
Yeah.
At least it gives everybody a laugh. You've got,
Yeah.
got to admit that one. It does. It does. But do you know what? Nick's actually gave me food for thought when he was talking, right? And I'm going to ask your guys' opinion, right? What if people. Hey, oh my God, Nick the prick.
And it,
Just especially for Nick. That's especially for Nick. See, I'm going to explain to everybody. I've got two Nicks in my life, right? I've got a good Nick and I've got Nick the prick. Right? So beside me, I've got my good Nick, and who came into the chat was Nick the prick. I won't tell you what he calls me back, and he better not tell him in the chat that he calls me back. But Nick has given me food for thought. So, guys, what's your opinion? What if these people, right, who claim that spirits are touching them, whatever, and as Nick said when he was explaining his story about, the wife and the husband that died, right? What if that's just a way for your, obviously spouses to feel comfort? What's your guys' opinion on that?
I think
could
for
be.
me, it's see. I think in a way, again, personal opinion, two things. It's almost, I guess, in a way to kind of help you better cope with the fact that yes, your spouse is gone, but that's almost like in a way to show that they're never truly apart from you, and perhaps in some way that even such an encounter like that maybe was just a real, again, final time to be intimate, also kind of a way of saying goodbye, like because it also might even represent, when was the last time they truly had been intimate with each other before he passed away. So and I know I'm not an expert on this kind of stuff, but I always heard, when it gets into it, does relieve a lot of stress, basically, so, well, no, like what goes on in daily lives or something like that. So I think that's one way to kind of put at it. But I think it's also a way of showing, well, actually, I think I just already explained the second thing, but yeah, that's probably best I can answer for that one.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Tim?
I think.
I think it's possible. I mean, I've heard more people getting scratched. But Emma, my daughter, she was scratched a few weeks ago when we was on an investigation, and it was we found out it was somebody called Roger. He scratched her neck, but back of her neck, and but I think you're probably right. Flo. Yeah.
It's one of those subjects. What about you, Lynn?
Well, I think thinking about what Nick said, he's right in a way, but also I can add to that where you get a lot of partners who've lost the husband or the wife, and they won't accept it. So sometimes the brain goes into meltdown, and they're actually having conversations. So it's like they won't accept they've gone, or it's a way of comfort for them to think that they're still there. Do you know what I mean? They just want them to be there, and they make this little world in their own heads, and they live in that little world, but it's a comfort for them. It really, because I do that sort of stuff, and it is a comfort. It helps them through the day, and you know, people still talk to them, and I just treat it like it's normal because it's good for them, and they're happy with it, you know. Because you don't know what grief's like until you're living in the moment, and if you've been with somebody for many, many years, it's a very difficult thing to accept. It's quite hard.
No, totally agree. I totally agree with you. Like my point of view is, it's one of those ones where, like, I've seen it with my gran, and I've seen it with many other people that I've looked after, and they still talk to, like, their spouses and things like that. When my gran went into dementia, and I've been fascinated with this in the sort of brain, why do they resort to thinking about sex, right? It's quite funny how the brain works, but I totally agree with you. See, with the whole speaking to them sort of thing, acting if they're still there, I would never ever correct that. Never ever would, because that's how they see it, you know. But it's one of those ones that are fascination. I think it all comes down, I don't care what anybody ever says, but I think it all comes down to the brain. Even with the paranormal, I think there's I'm not saying I'm like skeptical. What I tell people is, when they hear that I'm in the paranormal, after calling me a ghostbuster and everything else, and ask me if I take a Hoover run about me, like the Ghostbusters. It's like one of those ones. I'm logical in my thinking. People usually put, right, and everybody puts paranormal in history. But as much as I like history, I'm more fascinated with paranormal in psychology, because I think in an element there is that psychology. And if anybody's ever watched the show that we had with Dr. Carl Cooper, he had me thinking about a lot. See, when you speak to Dr. Carl Cooper, right, as scary as he is, because if MD had to ask me what one guest has ever made you sweat, I would say Dr. Carl Cooper. Honestly, Nick was there that night. I was like, I must have sounded like a machine gun. It was like that fear. But Dr. Carl Cooper is worth listening to. He really, really is. Because see, when you talk to him and he talks about, you know, all the different stuff, it leaves you thinking a lot of things, because I actually was listening, but there was so much I was thinking about while I was talking. So I've become fascinated to that side of the field more than paranormal in history. I'm more paranormal in psychology. It really is one of those ones. Robert says she'll be saying, "What the fuck am I doing here?" Tom's book come again. Oh. Robert says, "Oh, a haunted sex doll. Here's Nick, you cheeky shite." Me? I'm never cheeky. Guys, am I cheeky?
No.
Don't answer that. Kate says, "Hi, Pickle Tom." Nicola says, "That's awful." Noreen says, "With dementia, the barriers that would normally stop you from swearing inappropriately, for instance, deteriorate, so people that never swore in their lives suddenly start swearing." That is very, very true. It is. I've seen it. So I do look at it, like, as I was saying, you know, when it comes to people and objects and people who marry their dogs. It's one of those.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
It's it's just the psychology I'm interested in, and like, what's the power of thinking? What are they thinking? I'm becoming quite geeky, guys.
You are.
You see, yeah.
It's those new glasses, done it, isn't it?
It is. I tell you, I'm becoming a good-looking bastard with these glasses.
They're my X-ray, are they? They're my X-ray ones as well.
It's like one of the ones. I actually, believe it or not, guys, you're going to laugh, but it isn't too recently that I looked at them and I thought to myself, I look like the woman for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No.
And I'll tell you why. It's the shape of the glasses. It's with the wee bits that come up here. And I'm thinking to myself, I know that look. Where have I seen that look? Oh, wait a minute. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2003 one. I said, I look like the old Bammy. Chris says, oh, geez, Nick. Noreen says, that isn't normal. See, this is a problem, guys. We're coming into the 21st century. And as everybody knows, without sounding terrible, right, the world is going crazy. Let's all face it. Right? It's becoming crazy in the sense of just everything in life. You know, you can't say this, can't do that. If you're this sort of person, that sort of person, if you're in love with an object, if you're in love with a ghost or whatever, the world is becoming that way, but that's the way it's going forward, guys. It is going forward that way, as that, you know what? It's a free-for-all. It's an absolute free-for-all.
Yeah.
It is. It's gone crackers. It's gone crackers.
But I'm normal. That makes me look normal, so I'm absolutely fine with that.
I don't want to be normal.
I would say I was normal. See, even my tablet's got smacked that I said that I'm normal.
There's nothing normal.
Nobody asked you. That's my sister. She thinks she's going to come onto my show. I don't think so.
I don't want to be on your show.
Just ignore her, folks. She's up in there.
So what does everybody think about, like, really mischievous spirits who've done really naughty things? So say they keep repeating doing things in the house, like moving stuff around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What about that sort of mischievous stuff? Hey,
Hey, Rigga.
Hey, Rigga. Hey, Rigga.
Oh, yeah.
And he was in a weird
I was in the weird room.
I was in a weird room. Yeah, well, I'm in a weird room as well. Yeah, we were talking about funny things. We was investigating Emma again. She always gets all the action. We was investigating an old courtroom, and yeah, she was sitting down on the side, and then it was dark, obviously, and all of a sudden something hit the floor by the side of her, and she fell out of the chair because it made a jump. So I put the torch on whatever it was, and it was a red onion, and it was going round like that on the floor. Then it stopped. That was weird.
that is a bit weird, yeah.
An onion. And then when I look back into it, because it was a courtroom, back in the day, they used to throw rotten fruit and stuff, didn't they, in court?
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
you know.
I've had mischievous ones where I've been told to go fuck myself.
Have you?
I've been told go. Listen, it's not the first time that humans and spirits have told me to go fuck myself.
I got told to F off on an EVP. Yeah.
In fact, if Robbie Crossings in the chat with me, he was we were doing Kilwinning Abbey, and I'm sure Jacqueline was there, I could be wrong. And he was called a baldy bastard.
What was that? Was
And,
that an actual voice or an
Wait,
EVP?
this was on Scott?
Well, apart from my voice, it was part of an EVP,
right.
which was so funny. It was actually so funny. Listen, see, if I had to, heaven forbid, pass and leave this earth, I would definitely let Scott know I was there, because it would come through baldy bastard. No. In fact, here's a question for you. We'll have a bit of fun night. If you, right, heaven forbid, right, I don't want anything to happen to you guys, right? But if you had to pass, right, and come back through an EVP, what code word would you use so that people would know it was you that was talking?
Oh, what a good question.
Mm.
Oh, now then.
Oh yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
now
know.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
now. What would you do, though?
If I had to use a word, apart from fuck,
Oh, I think I already know what I'd use. Corn.
Corn. I kind of thought you would. That or Gorilla Glue.
Or yeah, Gorilla Glue.
Mine would be tiger, because I'm fascinated with tigers. Absolutely
Right.
love
I
tigers.
thought you were gonna say,
Oh,
I know you were gonna say tiger glue?
maybe I want some tiger balm.
Oh, Tiger Balm! I'm always telling people to get some Tiger Balm. And
Do you know what? I've heard that tiger balm's good for a good few things.
Yeah, it is.
And you're glad I couldn't help it with that cheeky smile on. Shut up, Wallace.
Yeah, Manuka honey it is with me. Yeah. There's
I don't know
more
what I'd say.
who's got Manuka honey because I told him to get something else.
The way you like women.
Yeah.
So, Tim, what would you say?
I'd probably just say my name, I think, so people knew who it was.
Oh, here's Terry Two Bellies. Yo! I did. That's what I call him, Terry Two Bellies. Robert says, yeah, me too. Chris, both women were naked. I had no clue. I don't want to know. But what would you do? In fact, we'll just leave that alone. I think we've had enough tonight for our sex dolls. That's one of those ones you don't touch with a badge roll. You don't even go near. But yeah, so come on, Lynn, what would you say?
What would I say? I'd say get out. Not
Get out.
Get out, but you know, somebody says something which is really interesting. I'll normally say get out, you know. That's what I say. Not like get out. I have to go get out because it's so interesting. I've got to listen to it. Yeah.
If Scott's slang for big guy, I have no comment to that one, Terry. Hey, Darwin, Craig Stevens, guys, go and check this gentleman out. Ghostface Paranormal. He's a good guy. He's on YouTube. He's on Facebook. Definitely go and check him out. He does events. Get out. I mean, how many spirits have always told us to get out? And it always makes me it makes me fascinated when they come through in the EVP and they start telling you to get out. But then I think to myself, right, here's a good thing, right? My brain works at 100 miles per hour. Please forgive me, guys. Right? But what if spirits think we're ghosts to them?
Yeah.
What a fabulous question. Do you know what? What's that film with Nicole Kidman? What's it called?
The others?
The Others. I think that's one of the best films, honestly.
Yeah, that's it.
It's absolutely amazing because it psychologically twists things round, doesn't it? Absolutely amazing. And where we think she is the actual woman who's got the key to the house and she's going, and I'm thinking, why is she locking and unlocking them doors as she goes through and everything's going to be locked up? And in the end, it turns out that they're the ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the other. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then, do you know?
Yeah, I remember that movie.
The housekeeper comes, the Irish housekeeper comes, doesn't she? And they all come to work there. The man who does the gardens, the gardener. And there's something really strange. So you've got these cliques. You've got the cliques of the people that live there. And you've got kids and Nicola Kidman who were there. And then the family come to live in the house. And they think they're very strange because they can't find them. Amazing film. I think that's fabulous.
No, right, honey, thank you very much for popping man. You take care of yourself. Always welcome. But I'll tell you what, right? Since we're talking films, we're getting into rabbit holes. This is why I love this show. This show falls into many steps. Sorry, God, you say one subject and you're about 50 subjects up by the time you finish. There's films. Have you ever watched films and got so psychologically involved in the film you actually feel like you're there? Like I watch these VHS, right? See VHS. It's one of those films. Nick, have you ever seen VHS?
It's funny you said that. That was what we were talking about on the recent Fear Fans episode. I mean, we were talking about Blair Witch, but we also made a couple mentions on VHS too. Yeah. That's a creepy series, except for one that didn't do so well, but the other ones are really good.
VHS is basically, it's like home videos, right? But they're so screwed up that you think to yourself, holy shit. It's one of those ones, guys, that you really, really need to check out. It's actually put me off one of the classical themes, like theme musics, like one of the, because I think it's VHS Viral, and I can't remember the piece of classical music, but oh my God, every time I hear it, in fact, I'll tell you, right, Tim, Nick, I'm not sure in Lynn, I don't see Lynn being a wrestler, into the wrestling, right? Well, Tim, you ever watched the wrestling?
No, I don't know wrestling.
I've been to the wrestling.
No. Nick, you've watched the wrestling. Please tell me you've watched the wrestling.
I'm not really much as a huge fan with the wrestling.
This is the moment that I wish that Jeremy York was here. But there was one of the tunes that used to be Triple H's in the 90s. One of the theme tunes, and it's a wee classical musical tune, and every time I hear it, it gives me goosebumps because I think of VHS, because it's so messed up, the film, but it's one of those ones that are so good that you just you get embroiled in. What films do you guys like? That's got the paranormal feel to it.
I like what's it called? The Lady in Black, is it?
Oh, I watched that the other night.
Yeah, The Woman in Black with
with Harry Potter.
Yeah. Do you know what? Yep. I think that's what you call a proper ghost film.
Yeah.
And here's the part. I've not only seen that film, because I know it started off as a book and then it was adapted into a play. I've seen the play. And
Oh, you're showing off now, Nick, aren't you?
well, here's what I will say about the play is that it's not like the movie, though. One of the biggest things about the play version of Woman in Black is that it's notorious for having such an extremely small cast. Like, unlike the film, there's only like 2 people in the entire show, minus the Woman in Black, but of course she has no lines, obviously, but it's just 3 people. And I got to admit, the stage adaptation, I think it was actually scarier than the movie was.
Wow.
And they actually did make and most people don't seem to know this, but there actually was another movie adaptation that was made back in the late 80s, but I think that was just a television movie. It might be on YouTube, but it didn't get as much attention as the one from 2012 with Daniel Radcliffe. I think the one from the 80s didn't get as much attention as the one from 2012 did.
See, the thing I like about that film is every single little part of the film, right? So you're seeing him sitting there and he's going through documentation and he's going into different rooms and he's sitting there. I'm sitting there with him. The film it makes you feel that you're in that room, you're sitting there, you're reading that stuff, and you can feel things around you. There's things watching you, the energies are behind you, at the side of you, little things happen, it takes your eye to somewhere else, it drags you in. And the whole atmosphere, the house, the area, everything is just absolutely amazing. I think that's one of my favourite ghost films.
Yeah.
What about you, Tim?
My favourite film's Flatliners.
I've never ever seen Flatliners.
Oh, it's brilliant. Brilliant.
I've heard of
I've seen it years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite an old film. I like that because it's more psychological than scary. Yeah, I like that. And Lost Boys, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another good one. Yeah.
It's a bit. They're a bit silly, but I like that. See, if it's really bad, I have nightmares. I do. I don't mind going. I go real ghost hunting, and I'm fine. But if I watch it on the TV before I go to sleep, I'll wake up with cold. I'll, cry. Oh dear, it's terrible.
Well, so, can I honestly say, right? I wouldn't watch VHS then. That's no.
I don't like gory ones. I don't like gory films.
Oh, see, that's me. I like a lot of those films.
Yeah, I must admit I'm the same. But as long as it's not chick flicks, romances, I'm fine.
I loved American Werewolf. I loved American Werewolf in London.
Yeah,
I've never seen that.
Oh, because it's comedy as well. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Do you know what I find comedy? Freddy versus Jason.
Oh yeah.
No, I haven't seen Freddy Krueger. No, too scary.
You better.
And The Shining, I was scared of that as well. Shining, I didn't like that.
I like The Shining.
It was a good film, but it frightened me, didn't it? It frightened me too much.
But it's supposed to, isn't it, Tim? That's the idea.
Do you know what? I really like the Hell Houses. I really do like the Hell Houses. And
yeah.
There's 4 of them. And I only discovered the one recently, the last one recently, when I was watching Shudder, because I'm subscribed to Shudder. And I watched it, and I was like, kind of like, oh, this is freaking me out. I don't like this. And usually I'm alright with horror movies, but I don't know what it was that night. But I was like, oh, I just don't like this. By the way, Nick, I made an error. Well, it wasn't really an error. It was a curiosity, and now I'm emotionally scarred. You know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say to you. I didn't watch it, but I scrolled it.
What was it?
It was Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh my God.
I had to look at that one. Oh, that movie is horrible.
I didn't actually watch it. What I did was I hit it, and then I quickly scrolled it to go through it quickly, just to see what it was like. And I was kind of like, holy fuck, that's on one of my lists. I've got Clockwork Orange, and now I've got Cannibal Holocaust, because they're the two films I just can't. Oh no, oh Jesus! See, as soon as I seen the animal killing.
That movie, Cannibal Holocaust, that was banned in the UK when it first came out. It was branded as a video nasty.
Sounds like it.
Do you know what, though? When you say about the Hill House ones, the one I watched the original one years ago, the black and white one, and it really, really played on
I haven't seen it. Is it a black and white movie?
Yeah, it is. And there's a lot in that film which is very, very close to the one with Catherine Zeta-Jones in, right? The building itself, the stairwell, the orangery and all that. The banging, that thudding and the bang. Amazing. Very, very good film. But when I watched Catherine Zeta-Jones, the way they got those like children.
Oh, for God's sake.
And the children were flying, weren't they? They were flying with through the net curtains and under the sheets and all
my
that.
God.
And Tom's got really nightmares. Please forgive me. Please come back on my show.
Right. So when I watched that, I went unbeknownst to Morecambe Winter Gardens, and they've got the most amazing stairwell on both sides. So it's all like marble. But all up the sides of the stairs, there's these cherub baby faces like the ones on Hill House. And they're everywhere. It's you think, oh my God, I've gone there. Do you know, it's really,
Do you know what? I would love, right? See, ideally, I would love to be dumped in the States. Don't care where, just dump me anywhere. Because there's so many places that I would love to explore, and I would just love, know what would be absolutely ideal for me? Blair Witch weather, in the middle of the woods, and this a house appears. What a dream. I would be the sort of person, believe it or not, I would be that sort of person that would have the balls to just do brass in there. Let's see what's going on. Right, okay, I've seen enough. Bye. I would just be like kind of those. Teddy says, I've had to get out, fuck off and leave me alone. Oh, Terry, that's no nice. Terry says, I always tell me you guys were intruders, and how would you feel if some group came into your home uninvited and asked you to do things? This is very true. Nick, nobody likes a show. But there's only ever been one place, I must admit, that gave me the absolute fear. And it was when I was out investigating with Baldy. And we went to this, it was a old power plant place. And, excuse me, I've never... When I talk about Lennox Castle, I tell everybody how obviously spooky it is. And I'm great with Lennox Castle, except that one time when I got a jump scare. But apart from that, I love Lennox Castle. But this place, oh my God, guys, I was terrified. That it was literally in the middle of the woods. It's so dark. When you get into this place, honestly, it's like like the stairs going up, you've got to be really, really careful. When you get to a certain level, the atmosphere in there is so negative. Now, I'm not going to use the D word because I absolutely can't stand that word. It's one word that drives me batty. I absolutely hate it, is the D word, right? Because I'm a very firm believer it's a far in between. It's not the way that Zach Baggins progresses it is, like it happens every time. It was a very, very negative energy, shall we say. And honestly, it's one of those places, it's like, wow. Plus as well, you've got to watch your feeding, because when you go into this place, you've got a drop at the one side of you. So it's kind of like you've got to watch what you're really, really doing. And the atmosphere in there's like, oh my God. If Tim thinks he can't sleep at night because of nightmares of watching films, Lo is like, holy God, please get me out of here. It's like, it does very much remind me of Blair Witch. That's why I love when it absolutely buckets, because to me that's amazing. That's what paranormal investigating is about.
Yeah,
definitely. I'll tell you what, guys, it's been a good show tonight.
Good, that's good.
Yeah,
I'm very glad that you've joined us, Tim.
yeah. Thanks for asking. It's nice. Yeah, glad I made it.
As I said, you're welcome absolutely any time. I think I've got you booked in actually for
Yeah, you have. Yeah, I can't remember now. I've got it on the calendar.
That's all right. You still can come on the 8th of November.
That's it.
Yeah. I just seized the opportunity. I was like, oh, Tim.
Yeah, I was sorry I didn't answer your call. I was driving along and I heard it going off, but of course you can't when you're driving down the motorway. You can't really answer your phone, can you? So
Noreen says plenty of subjects tonight.
Yeah.
Noreen, who says we're done? There may be many more. It's Friday night, who cares? But no, Tim, as I said, you're more than welcome. I seized the opportunity because I was like, oh, I wonder what Tim's up to tonight. And I was like, thought I'd get you a phone. I bet you thought, oh, there's that fucking pest. I'm not answering.
No, I couldn't see who it was. I couldn't see who it was because I was driving, Steve. So
yeah.
But no, it's definitely an interesting one. Next week, guys.
Can I say the most interesting psychological film that I've ever seen, and it's not a ghost film. It was Silence of the Lambs.
Oh my God, I love that. In fact, that actually gives me a subject to put down. Actually, I keep getting subjects and then they get my bloody head. So that is one to add, because what I like to do, guys, is hey Larry.
It's Joe.
Was that Joe?
Yeah, it is.
Larry? What, Jojo? Yeah. Is that our Joe?
Yeah, our Joe from Wisconsin, yeah. Yeah,
oh, hey Joe.
I brought my
hi mate.
A birdie. Yeah. Do you know what? I like to do films and I like to look at them from a psychological point of view. We've done Saw, and some of us had. Do you know what? I like to look at films. I don't know. Honestly, I'm a geeky. I'm so geeky, it's unreal. But I like to sit and look at films from a psychological point of view if they interest me, like things like Saw. Saw interests me in the true crime aspect. The Purge interests me from a crime point of view as well, of what would happen if you let, in fact, we need to reschedule that subject in as well. What would happen if people were allowed to, like UK, I'm going to use the UK for prime example, if people were allowed to purge, but Ken, what would happen? But what I like about the purges, they look at all aspects. They look at how it began. The woman that was trying to stop the purging, it looks at the first purge, and it's all different, things like that. The silence of alarms, again, looking that from a criminal point of view. Even though that was based on Ed Gein, a lot of films were based on Ed Gein. You have your Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you have The Silence of the Lambs, you have Psycho.
Psycho, yeah.
Do you know what? I liked it old Psycho, but I don't like Vince Vaughn, but I thought he played a good Psycho as well. I actually liked
I like
his.
Psycho.
I've met plenty of psychos in my life, but but I like Psycho as well. I think Psycho is a really good film. But there's loads of films. Honest to God, as you say, Nori, you have to get an. Listen, I've got my notepad. My notepad's here.
Nothing in it.
Wait now. I think there is one thing. Tim's an asshole. Sorry, I didn't maybe look at that. But yeah, I have got a notepad because my brain is terrible. Terrible. The guys can vouch for me.
Yeah, me too.
They've got to hold my hand. Honestly, it's terrible. But as well because I plan ahead. Like I've got our shows planned up to December.
Yeah.
Nearly. And it's just between booking guests, having subjects. But there's a few subjects that I would like to do. Noreen says it wasn't expecting sex robots to be on the agenda. It's definitely been an eye opener of a show tonight, I must admit. But yeah, we were even discussing last night, weren't we, guys? Well, we were discussing about doing the 27 Club because we were talking about superstitions.
Yeah.
And it came up about the white lighter myth, that the ones that had white lighters who was in 27 Club, Jimi Hendrix, Joplin, Morrison, Cobain.
Yeah.
So it's definitely those sort of ones that we would love to do as well. And if you guys have any subjects for us, please, by all means, tell us what you would like to see. So it's been a really good show. So next week on the Thursday we have Kate. So we'll have Kate for us. That's how you pronounce her second name, isn't it, Nick?
I think it's Frazzy. I said I think it's Frazzy, yeah.
Yeah. Next Friday we have Ghostly Castles.
Wow.
So that'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, yeah.
What is you and the boys doing in the weird room, Tim, on the Thursday?
We're going to be discussing the Pied Piper of Hamelin next week.
How interesting.
Oh, tell us more.
Until recently, I didn't realise it was based on a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Nick.
What was it? What are you guys talking about again?
Pied Piper of Hamelin.
Oh, okay.
Because Dan's actually been there, so that'll be quite interesting.
Yeah.
Oh. Here you go, Lois. What Rigo just said.
I'm free to come on love you. Right, my sweet. Wait the now. This is pre-booking on the show. Does Thursday or Friday suit you, nigga?
Oh, and look who just showed up in the chat just as we were wrapping up.
Oh, there's my darling. My wee Irish demon. Jenny, good evening, all my fabulous Scottish demon. Because I always go on Jenny's shows and I say my Irish demon. So that'll be an interesting one. Rigger, you had to say both. You said both. I'll message you after the show, my darling, and we'll get something sorted. Some man. He's some man. Guys, please check Rigger out as well. He's a good guy. It's Scottish Paranormal Investigations Group. Yes, I finally got it. Do you know what? See people with long names, right, as a paranormal teams, they kill me.
Oh.
They absolutely kill me. And I'll tell you who's the worst one for it is Nick Matty. See, every time Nick Matty comes on, I just dread it because when I give him a shout out, his title is so long. I'm like, that, you're killing me here. So I have to go into Facebook to then get the name, to then tell people who he is.
Yeah, he lives in my town as well. He's in Northampton.
Yeah, you were saying a while ago when we were talking.
Yeah, I've never met him yet. So.
Oh.
You don't want you don't really want to meet him. You're not missing much. You'll kill me.
Joe, I was going to ask you that question when we were going to do golf it again.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love when they golf it.
Not seen that.
I love when they golf it. Guys, see if you want to check out Golf It. It's on BBC TV. Check it out, guys. No, you didn't. It's Scotland of Rigger, you're killing me. No, you didn't. It's Scotland's Paranormal Investigations Group, you dingus. Right, okay. I got 90% right, fuck's sake. Joe says there's no insane asylum tonight. Ha ha ha. That's what you get. Hey, William. Were you away? Hey, William. But no. See, that's what happens when you try to be smart. Ha ha ha. He's laughing, William. William's an interesting guy as well. He really is. But yeah, guys. So check us out. We're on BBC TV, Tempo Phoenix Rising Entertainment. We're on Things Network. We're on Goss God. Ghost God Scotland as well, guys. So we're everywhere. You can't get rid of my face. Facebook, everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm a woman of all trades. Right, that sounds dodgy. That sounds dodgy. Nick, what's happening in Nick's world?
Not really much going on. I mean, I know I'll be doing Fear Fans next week, which I know we're going to be talking about Alien. And honestly, just being with you guys, it's all, I mean, with the other shows, it's all I know.
Brilliant.
Alien is a good film. Have you ever seen Alien? Alien.
Yeah.
That's a good film. That's a good one.
Got them all.
Yeah.
That's a very psychological film.
That was the weird. Oh, do you know what? It was actually the partner that actually taught me about aliens, showed me aliens. The original Alien, Joe's asking.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Because he brought it through and he's like, oh, you might like it. And then I'm terrible. I must admit, guys, I'm terrible. I can be really stubborn-headed sometimes, and I'm like, no, I'm not watching that shite. And then I get drawn in. I get hooked in, like, literally. And it's like...
Joe, that's going to be 2 weeks from now.
2 minutes, guys.
Oh, thanks, Riga.
But yeah, I get so soaked in, and it was like, oh my god, and we binge watched it, and I liked it. I liked the first one. I really liked the first one. He was never keen in the first one. He preferred the second one, but I liked the first one of the aliens, like Predator. I was watching that the other night with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I like Predator.
Like Terminators as well. I do
like the Terminators. I think, see, to be honest, that this is going to make you guys laugh, right? But I think that Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he does his later movies, like Last Man Standing, the use of the Terminators, I think is, I don't want to say the wrong name yet. I think he's good looking, the older that he gets.
He's gone better looking as he ages, yeah. Good wine, he ages, yeah. Well, yeah.
Hey, he just tried to prove himself to be a good neighbor.
I forgot that Nick can actually do an impression. Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Because hey, you know, it even says right here, it says neighbor, just like it's written in the paper.
You sounded English then.
Yeah.
It was like one of those.
I loved it that much. I had to go and get George Thorogood basketball.
Oh my god.
That's playing quite a lot in my car.
Do you know what? I don't know about you guys, right? But I find it more difficult now. Because I really know who I really love. And it's going to be so sad without seeing him in movies. Is Bruce Willis. I really love Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a film.
It's a shame.
Yeah. Nick, tell me, please, you've watched Die Hard. You have put it on your list, or you have watched?
I've only seen parts of it. I haven't seen the full thing yet.
But I really, he's one of my favourite, and it breaks my heart just that he'll never ever be in movies.
Yeah.
The one recently that I seen was Apex. Apex is really good. It's really good. It's got him and I need to Google that because that guy's name's went out of my head. I do apologise, guys. Apex.
What are you trying to do?
It's Neil McGogan. It's this guy. Nick, can you put him up in single screen?
Yeah, hang on 1 second. Oh wait. You're trying to. Okay, go on. Try that again.
Right, 2 secs. Oh, bugger off.
Yeah.
He's really good in it. It's well worth a watch, definitely. Apex. Again, it's one of those films that I wouldn't usually be into. Mind you, I'm just becoming geeky. I'm 36 in September. Next month I'll be 36. And I'm geeky.
Oh. Nothing.
Don't you say wow.
Interesting. That's what you are.
I'm a fine specimen. Oh, but what can I say, guys? But we will wrap it up. Join us next week. Definitely, please check out the Weird Room as well. It's on a Thursday night at 8 p.m. You will find Dan, Eric, and Tim. Definitely check them out, guys. They're interesting men. But thank you very much, Tim, for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me on. Been fun.
You're very welcome. Rigger's like 36, Flo, you're still a young pup. I like to take 20 years off that. Oh God. But guys, please take care of yourselves and have a good weekend and stay safe. And we will catch up with you. Oh, Nick's got his hand up.
No, I was just gonna wave.
Oh, that you tell me everything. Because what happens is when Nick puts his hand up to say something and he says halfway through and I cut him off and then the stream. I did that one night. Oh, guys, it was hilarious. He was talking about supernatural talk, and because he stopped, I thought he was done. So I hit end stream and I literally cut him off because he went to speak again and I went, fuck my life. Literally cut him off. I was like, Jesus. But everybody take care and the famous hand of Nick, you're bloody right. But everybody have a good weekend. Stay safe. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.